Gwata ndai, hashtag Tudhurigui. What do I mean by Tudhurigui? Let me elaborate briefly. This is a group of men who go beyond Kikuyu cultures and traditions. Their beliefs happen to make women victims. I have a story of a woman with this ungodly experience from her husband. Mary, not her real name, is one of the big-hearted ladies I've met in the recent past. A mother of 2 boys and a girl, Mary, who is in her mid-30s, cuts the demeanor of a composed, caring, and very honest and patient wife and a mother. I pick out that from a telephone conversation even before I met her for an interview last week. But the pain in her soul was evident even in the phone call. Mary had just read an update I posted here same day in 2 words, Gwata ndai. Ndai is a Kikuyu word for kitendawili. Gwata ndai is the phrase you use when posing a kitendawili to another person. However, in this context, Gwata ndai is a cultural, more of a cultic movement that has engulfed central Kenya, drawing in men and some women. They are advocating for a return to the Kikuyu ways of life, including the most outrageous of them. It's a wave that has raised a storm of controversy across the Kikuyu nation. Mary called to tell me how she had become a victim of her husband, a very wealthy man who had changed from caring, loving man upon joining the Gwata ndai movement. After listening briefly, I proposed that we have a one-on-one meeting so that I could observe the demeanor of the person I was talking to. She obliged. She said she wanted to put her story out there for others to read. We met before end week and she went straight to the issue, narrating events as if they happened yesterday. Here is her story, almost verbatim. I got married to Kamau in 2009. Then he was jobless man, just surviving, and I was a career woman. Around 2000, we got our firstborn son, then our secondborn girl in 2000. I don't want to say the exact year. At the time, we were both members of the PCA church. I still don't want to mention where exactly. My husband had then established a business in industrial area and was starting to do well. In 2017, just like that, I noticed his lifestyle had started changing. For a start, he started coming home at 1 a.m. or 2 p.m. and sometimes stayed away overnight. He would not be home during the weekends. I confronted him about it and he became very defensive, saying he was a man and I should never be questioned. I had never seen this side of him. In July 2017, we separated for 2 weeks. I went to stay with my mother. When I was away, he broke into my shop in Nairobi CBD and destroyed all the merchandise, declaring that no woman in his house would work again or even get employed. He pronounced that his wife would stay at home taking care of children and other domestic duties. That was the year I stopped working. He would send me many pictures of gravicities, coffins, and crosses saying he was going to kill me. When I went back to his house, I became his errand girl. His life had completely changed. Everything that needed to go wrong about him had gone wrong. He was a different man. He was totally negative about church and Christianity. He described the Bible as a mere novel and Jesus as Maria's lad who died a long time ago. In March 2020, I confirmed that I was pregnant with our third-born son. I informed Kamau about it. The first thing he told me was that I was not going to attend any clinics in any hospital. He told me that I was going to deliver the baby under the Gikuyu childbirth practices, like Mombi, the mother of the Gikuyu tribe. He said Kikuyu women lacked morals because of entangling themselves with foreign traditions that they knew nothing about. 2. He told me that the baby would not get a Christian name. I insisted on attending to clinics and he opposed them totally. I had to bulldoze my way through. As my due date neared, I made inquiries from his friends and other women. That was when I learned that I was in danger of being circumcised during the childbirth. My husband had advocating for circumcision of women and girls. I was shocked and scared. I talked to my doctor and we agreed that I would have a CS through half anesthesia since I needed to be alert during the birth. I informed my husband and he objected to delivery in hospital. I faked labor pains before the due date so that I could be admitted in the hospital. My husband decided to take me to the hospital, but he had an argument with the doctor over the kind of delivery that I should have. The doctor stood his ground. The baby was delivered through CS in October, around 2000. Still, I don't want to say the exact day or the year. One day, the same October 2000 and something, he came home totally drunk and blackened out in the living room. I took his phone and decided to go through the content. That was the day shock hit me like a thunderbolt. There was a WhatsApp group of the so-called Gwata movement, of which he was a member. I saw a message sent to him by the group leader, one chief, I can't say the name yet, giving him instructions on what he needed to do to be accepted as an elder. First, he had to pay the debts of Gomi, the spirits of his forefathers. 2, he had to get his wife and daughter circumcised. 3, he had to rename his children with Gikuyu names. And finally, had to undergo a ritual called utahikio to expel Jesus from his life. I had the phone for 2 hours and some of the things I read are beyond explanation. There was a deep discussion in the group on how Christianity is a scam, how we have been praying to Maria's boy, Jesus. I took the screenshots. When I asked him about it, he got extremely furious. On 27th October, I received a call from a lady calling herself, still don't want to say the name. My husband was there when the call came through. I put it on the speakerphone. The woman used the most unprintable words and threats on me, telling me to keep off her husband. Kamau, I was astonished. I had known that he was seeing another woman, all women, but I didn't expect this. When I asked him about the lady, he said he was a Mugikuyu and had all the right to have as many women. After that incident, he took all his personal belongings and left our home and went to live with the woman. I learned they already had a child together. He then told me that if I wanted to continue living in his house and getting his support, I had to comply with all his terms and demands, including getting circumcised and abandon Christianity. I'm using civil language because in his messages he used the worst vulgar language that you can imagine. I remember as we walked out, our daughter asked him where he was going and he replied that he was going to run his life. The girl asked him, "Tumekufanyia nini, daddy?" I reported the woman's threats at Central Police Station, where she was called and given a warning. She then started threatening me using police officer at Dandora Police Station. I informed Kamau's mother that he had left the house. The mother talked to another lady whose son was Kamau's friend. The lady was not surprised, but she was astonished at the spread of Gwata movement. She told my mother-in-law that her own son was worse, that he was so engrossed in it that he even wanted her to also get the cut. Early this year, Kamau came back and demanded to have the children. He said he wanted them to go and get taught the Kikuyu way of life so that the foolishness in them could be removed. I told him that he would only take the children over my dead body. We engaged in a bitter argument and he left. He said he was going away for 6 years and that he would never foot any bills in the house or anything to do with me and the children. As usual, he used all kind of vulgarity and threats to intimidate me into submission. He told me I had to be like Mumbi is every sense, including dressing style. One time, he found our son reading and blasted him. He told the boy that the Bible was a novel and he should never see it in that house. He added that Jesus was only Maria's boy and he died many centuries ago. Many of his friends have abandoned their families after joining this movement since their spouses can't accept the practices. I can't imagine my daughter being initiated. Some of his friends had also warned me that my husband was about to drag us into things that we will never understand. I have now filed a case at the Children's Court for custody of the children and restraining orders to stop him from attempting to take the children. Well, and that is the story of one of the women who have these men for husbands.